Welcome back, focused learners. Let's jump right in. Today, we are taking a structured, deep dive into the chaotic, utterly terrifying mechanics of the haunting at the center of the demon inside. If you've ever wondered how a completely normal domestic setup can just rapidly devolve into an absolute supernatural battleground, well, this explainer is definitely for you. We're going to break down the anatomy of this haunting, looking at the actual rules, the massive mistakes made, and the ultimate sacrifices required to survive it. To really grasp the stakes here, just listen to how Courtney distills the creepy reality of her own home. So either we have dolls that come alive and run around the room, or we've got a ghost. She's suddenly confronted with an impossible situation right in her own sanctuary, and she boils it down to two equally horrifying options. There's literally no denial left at this point, just the creeping realization that their home has been totally breached by some unseen force. Okay, let's dive into this. Consider this agenda our survival guide for the narrative. First, the midnight alarm. 2. Enter the ghost killers. 3. A demonic escalation. 4. Trapped in the attic. And finally, facing the demon. Section 1. The midnight alarm. Now, a haunting like this doesn't usually start with a full-blown attack, right? It starts with psychological warfare. And the source outlines a very clear escalation. First, the house alarm triggers in the dead of night, and it's on a completely separate power grid, which totally defies logic. Then come the unexplained moving shadows, the television static, and, as we just heard from Courtney, the toys. Specifically, a rather demonic-looking doll that just inexplicably moves across the room. It's this rapid buildup of phenomena that pushes Courtney to draw a line in the sand. She literally declares she's going to pack bags and have her family out the door in 10 seconds if she sees one more thing. Honestly, it's a very rational reaction to a completely irrational threat. Section 2. Enter the ghost killers. So the Ghost Killers crew shows up, led by this deeply cynical, Readings-obsessed guy named Corbin, and they arrive completely expecting a standard haunting, friendly spirits that hide personal items or just trigger alarms. But as the source material makes painfully clear, they are actually dealing with a full-blown demon, which means possession, mind control, and extreme physical harm. This massive misdiagnosis is the crew's fatal flaw. Corbin is just so blinded by the prospect of getting good TV footage that he entirely ignores the massive red flags, leaving his team vastly, vastly out of their depth. Now, what's really interesting about this piece of lore is the gear they bring. The ghost killers don't roll up with holy water, they bring EMP pulsars. The logic here is kind of cool. Since spirits emit strong electromagnetic energy, these batons blast an electromagnetic pulse to fight fire with fire. It's basically a high-tech approach to a supernatural problem. But, as we're about to see, bringing an EMP baton to a demon fight is kind of like bringing a water pistol to a Category 5 hurricane. Section 3. A demonic escalation. The pace here accelerates so violently. Just look at how incredibly fast this arrogant TV crew gets decimated. Literally, in the very first minute of the investigation, Brianna opens a closet and is instantly turned into what the crew horrifyingly describes as strawberry jam. She is reduced to a non-Newtonian fluid in seconds. It's insane. Shortly after that, Ray is brutally taken out in the shower. And by hour 8, the entity isn't just killing them anymore, it's possessing them. It takes over Linda just to taunt the remaining survivors. The ghost killers showed up wanting a reality show, and they walked right into a slaughter. And the craziest part? They can't even call for help. The source highlights this brilliant, terrifying mechanic. The demon literally turns the house into an absolute electronic black hole. It doesn't just physically trap them by locking the doors, it completely suffocates them technologically. Cell phones? Totally useless. Radio waves simply cannot penetrate. The outside world is completely cut off, which just massively amplifies the isolation and the sheer terror of the situation. Section 4. Trapped in the attic. Okay, so to understand how they even attempt to survive this, we really need to understand the monster's lore. This demon doesn't just, walk down the hallway. It uses the closets in the house as a supernatural portal system to just instantly jump from room to room. Once the survivors figure this out, they immediately retreat to the attic. Why? Because the attic is literally the only room in the entire house that doesn't have a closet or a cabinet. It instantly becomes their only tactical safe zone. So the crucial point is how they actually use the demon's own energy against it, because its massive electromagnetic energy turns any camera feed in the room it occupies to pure static. The survivors use the remaining working monitors up in the attic to track it. It's like a radar. By watching the static jump from screen to screen, they know exactly where this thing is.
Steps 1 and 2 allow them to perfectly time step 3, which is Sam creating a massive, loud distraction. And that opens up the tiny window of opportunity for step 4, making a desperate, terrifying break for the exterior windows. It's a high-stakes game of cat and mouse, built entirely on the established rules of the haunting.
Section 5. Facing the demon. Now, for the entire duration of this nightmare, Sam genuinely believed he was the target. He thought his own dark past was what invited this curse into his home. But Tips, one of the surviving ghost hunters, drops a horrifying truth bomb. It's using you to bring back your wife and kid. It wants Harper for itself. The demon never wanted Sam. Demons typically prey on the youthful and the easily manipulated. Sam was quite literally just the bait. The entity was using him solely to force Courtney and his innocent daughter, Harper, back into the house. It wanted Harper all along. This super dark revelation forces Sam to completely rethink his ultimate weapon. Throughout the whole story, Sam carries this deep shame over a Nordic tattoo on his neck, 3 interlocking triangles that he got while serving time in prison for nearly beating a man to death. He looks at it as a brand of his violent, toxic past, a past he swore to his wife he'd never ever return to. But Tips reveals the true meaning of the symbol. In Norse mythology, those interlocking triangles actually represent a powerful ward of protection against evil spirits. So the very thing Sam thought was his ultimate curse, it's actually his armor. And this brilliantly illustrates the core conflict. Sam realizes that to defeat a creature from the absolute darkest corners of hell, he can't be the gentle family man he's been trying so hard to be. He has to become the monster he used to be. Knowing his family is speeding back to the house, Sam makes a genuinely heartbreaking choice. He deliberately breaks his hard-won sobriety. He takes a drink to unlock the rage and the violent, prison-hardened brawler he had locked away. He literally weaponizes his own inner demons so he can physically fight the actual demon waiting for him downstairs. Which leaves us with this final, lingering question. By tapping back into the sheer darkness he fought so incredibly hard to escape, can Sam actually save his daughter? Or will unleashing his violent past ultimately destroy the very man his family loves? It's just a fascinating look at the duality of our inner nature, proving that sometimes you really do have to fight hell with a little bit of help. Thank you for joining me for this explainer. Focus learners, keep analyzing, keep questioning, and I'll see you on the next deep dive.